Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and I've got something that I hope is going to excite you. It is like something that happens every 5, 10 years, especially since the advent of high technology in the 70s and 80s, and that is a new avenue of potential income for you if you're a great storyteller, not only with your voice, but with writing. And what I'm talking about is smart assistants, smart speakers, AI assisted speakers. I'm talking about things like Amazon Alexa and Google Home and Apple HomePod and Siri and all of those things. Now, we tend to think of those things as basically just computer generated, pre recorded voices. But what I want you to think about today is the idea that just like when uh when I was in high school, BASIC, Fortran, PL1, APL, COBOL, all of these languages were being built for linear app work on big mainframe computers. And then object-oriented stuff came along, C++, all of the Java and those associated things, making applications that basically waited for user input from a number of different avenues and then did whatever the user wanted it to do. Well, now you can see a huge spike in the increase in the way people search. More and more and more people are searching with voice, sometimes on computers, sometimes on their phones, sometimes on tablets, but often with speakers. So if you know how to create conversations, which we do because we're storytellers, you might have the opportunity and might want to think about the idea of moving into the business of AI assisted speakers and voices, assistants. Here's the thing. IVR was like not a category in the 80s when I started working with America Online as the voice of their IVR system. And now it's one of many, many ways that voiceover people can make money. And I really believe that smart speakers, virtual assistants, and I'm talking about AI-based assistants, are going to be huge in the future. But there's not really a design community around that. You know, you can go to college right now and you can get a degree in graphic design, you can get a degree in systems design, mechanical design, you can get a degree in UI UX, which is user interface, user experience. But none of those really have caught up with the technology. None of them are addressing, at least none of the programs that I know, are addressing the design of voice apps. So when you play a game or when you get tickets for a movie, you know, you're going to AMC.com or whatever, or you're making an appointment, or you're looking for a recipe, or any of the millions of ways that you would use an AI-driven voice assistant, those all have to be designed in a way that helps people find the information and get the reaction and the results that they want. And I think part of that starts with understanding sort of the goals and some of the lingo. You know, in the IVR class that we have for VO2GoGo, we talk about prompts and we talk about phone trees and we talk about logic and we talk about actions and options. And some of that actually carries over to the assistant world. So there are two, I just wanted to share with you some high points of an article that Mark Webster, who works for Adobe and sort of their product manager for voice, wrote for Fast Company. It was a fascinating read. Voice assistants, smart speakers, and so on. The two big ones, and really the big one, is Amazon Alexa. If you look at a chart of the devices that are available for you to use for voice assistants, Amazon has like 90 of them. Google has like 6 and Apple has 1. And then there's everybody else. So really paying attention to Amazon and Google and what they do. Amazon Alexa versus Google Assistant. They have a different way of going about doing the apps that work on their speaker systems, on their systems. Amazon's are called Skills, and Google's are called assistants. And Alexa on Amazon often does all the work. Like you may go to a bank to get your balance, but Alexa is telling you your balance. With Google, they hand it off from the main Google voice on the home to whatever the bank has created for their app. So it's slightly different. And so let me just deal real briefly with the idea of how these apps work and what you need to know in terms of the lingo, of the different words that are used. So say you wanted to design an app like this. How would you prototype that? With a graphic design, you'd draw a storyboard, or if you were writing something, you'd write a draft and then you'd do that. So the cool thing with Amazon and with Google is that you talk it out. It's called the Wizard of Oz prototyping. So you and someone else sit there and have a conversation. Hi, I'd like to, get tickets for, the Avengers movie. Where are you located? Well, you don't need that because you know where they're located. You know their zip code. You know where the speaker is sitting in their home. And you know where their home is. It's all geo-located. So you can get rid of that. So that's what happens when you walk through the process. What theater would you like to go to? Well, there's a good chance that you have a special theater that you like, one that's nearby. So maybe the conversation is, would you like to see it at theater name goes here? Yes or no. So you have this conversation back and forth. What time would you like to go? How many tickets do you need? That sort of thing. That's called Wizard of Oz prototyping. And you start to lay out all the different options that people have when they do it, and the whole app starts to take shape. And then there are 4 or 5 different things that you should know about this space, and then I'll let you go because this has already become a huge, long video, but I'm so excited about it. So, utterance. An utterance is a command or phrase that a user says to a voice assistant. So, Alexa, I want to go to the movies. Or Alexa, I want to make reservations for a haircut, or whatever. The intent, that is a word that means what the user means by that. Because what somebody says doesn't always impart the full intent of what they want the assistant to do. There's a million ways to type in a search phrase, and there's a million ways to say a search phrase. So you have to understand what the intent is of what the utterance was, right? Then, hey, they're borrowing something from IVR, prompt. A prompt is what the assistant says back. And when you do IVR work, you're saying things that the caller will hear on the phone line. A turn. A turn is a back and forth. You say something, the assistant responds. The assistant says something, you respond. That's called a turn. And then finally, there's a bargain. See, now here's one of the cool things that I always am fascinated with when there's a new technology. You know how when you get frustrated that you can't get the operator or a live person on an IVR call and you start mashing on the 0 button? That's called a bargain in IVR, but it isn't something that's very well known. But a bargain is when you interrupt the voice assistant. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Stop. It's fascinating. I'm sorry I'm so excited about it, but it's fascinating. Designing these systems is going to rely on a skill that we have. That skill is storytelling. And because many of us are also skilled at doing IVR work and doing design work, there's a great opportunity for voice talent and for actors to get involved in this process. And it's not always going to be computer-generated voices. Sometimes there's going to be talent voices involved. This is a huge marketplace. Pay attention to it. You probably already have some sort of a speaker or a vocal assistant, even if you just have Siri on your phone. So you're getting more and more of an experience with this. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Maybe you don't share the same enthusiasm that I do. You're sitting there going, wow, why are you so hyped about this? I just am. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to be another thing that will allow us to make money and potentially something for me to teach. So I'm just really excited about it. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching on VO2GoGo. If you're not, go over there, because VO2GoGo.com is where we have all kinds of great things for you. for the world of performers. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, go ahead and click on my head there. If you don't see a head there, there's a subscribe button somewhere on the page below. And if you'd like to see the latest version of video that I've done, click on that frame and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.